Welcome to today's episode of Blending Fab, a podcast all about relationships where we explore expectations and lessons learned along the way. To keep up to date with what's coming up, be sure to follow us on Instagram at blending_fab. Let's get straight into it.
Okay, getting right into it. What would you say are the top 3 qualities you look for in connecting with friends or identifying somebody to be your friend?
Ooh, I like that little added part. I'd say like off the top, definitely loyalty. Um, I'd say integrity
Mm.
and respect. And as far as the second part of that question, identifying that, right?
Mhm.
It typically comes from how I see them engage and treat people,
Mm.
right? When we speak about family, how do they
Mhm.
speak about their family?
Gotcha.
Regardless if it's a sensitive subject, do they still hold them with respect and regard to,
Mm.
who they've been in their life, period, good or bad. So I think that's one. And like, let's say hypothetically, if we're going out to eat,
Mhm.
um, do you tip?
Mm.
How do you treat your server? Right?
Uh,
Things like that kind of let me know like the character of a person.
hmm. I like this already. I'm gonna start backwards from what you have shared. Um, with that tip and how you treat your server, I'll never forget when I lived in Maryland, I had a pastor and she did not play. If we went out to eat, she was like, y'all tipping, make sure you have a tip.
Yeah,
Because we want to show gratitude to them for serving us. They don't have to do that. Yes, we chose to go out, yada yada who, but we also want to be nice to those that are serving us and helping us out because they want,
absolutely.
you know. So that's a big one too. I pay attention. Some people aren't tippers.
No, it blows my mind. I know maybe it's because like I worked in the service industry as a young man in my early days of working, and so
Mhm.
to really get to see like the base pay was low as a low could get, right?
Uh-huh.
So you really lived off of your tips. And then there was, my uncle, he explained it to me, like just how a lot of moms, single moms, as I'm
Mhm.
sure this could be kind of part of what we talk about later, but um, they live off that. And they would
Yeah.
live off those tips, and the variable hours they worked because they were raising kids.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
it's all a part of it. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. Top tier. Especially around the holidays, I feel a little bit more free, and I'm like, let
Right.
me look
I
out.
mean, right. And honestly, what's crazy is um, I recent the last couple of years, like I was doing normal 10-15%, but in
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of years, I told myself, I said, if you can't go out and pay at least 20% of the tip,
Mm-hmm.
then don't go out.
Yeah.
Especially right now, just the way the
Uh-huh.
economy is set up, like
Yeah. Yeah.
they really need that. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, if you can't do it, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
As
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate as it is, but it's the truth in my
Absolutely.
personal morals.
Absolutely. I've even gotten hip to like, you have a cash app, or I could just send it straight to them because
Right. So,
off the record, on the record, if you give a tip
yes.
in the chat,
Yo.
they gotta
You
split it
know
with a bunch
what?
of people.
You just put me on. I thought about it, but now I'm finna really do that. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, hey, you got a cash app, so I can just send it to you, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not taxed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all the only taxes when you cash it out, so it's
Right.
like what, like
Right.
76 cents or something.
Right. Now I hope the I, the R, and S not listening to us right now.
Well, this is all. Yeah, we're just talking about donations here.
Yes, donations, donations. But yeah, and sometimes they'll be like, don't worry about it, just give it. And some are like, thanks, I appreciate it, because there is a difference. You do have to
Mhm.
share with others, and you want to look out for the person. Not that we're not
Right.
grateful for the bartender, but I also want to look out for the server that has really looked out for me, made sure I had whatever I
Right.
needed, surprised me with a little extra or something sometimes too.
Come on. I
Showing
mean,
sure they're
last
grateful.
night, my brother and I went out with my nephew. I'm actually down here in Texas right now visiting family. So I
Okay.
love the fact that we're able to even have this conversation right now while I'm
Yes.
in the midst of taking a break from my normal life in Seattle, Washington.
Mhm.
But we went out last night, and the server, my brother tipped him big too, because the server was like, walked up and saw my nephew sitting between me and my brother and was like, hey, it's your birthday, isn't it? And he kind of winked at him. You know what I mean? And my
Mhm.
nephew, he's a good kid. He was high integrity, right?
Yeah.
Morals. And he was like, no, it's not my birthday, you know, like, because he didn't want to steal, right? But the
Uh-huh.
guy was like, yes, it is your birthday. And you know, and it was just Gabe and I sat there. My brother's name is Gabe, and
Mhm.
we sat there and talked to Griffin about it and explained to him like how if you would have lied about your age and your
Mhm.
birthday, that's one thing, but
Yeah.
he was offering you up a blessing, so
Yeah.
receive it, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
it was a dessert that all three of us were able to share, so it was a beautiful thing. And so my brother was able to tip him even more,
Yeah.
just to kind of, you know, full circle what you were saying initially.
I like it. Very nice. Very nice. Another part you said was talking about how they talk about their family. And some of
Yeah.
us have some, nobody's perfect. We all got some
No, hey,
little
this.
things going on in our family, but to still be able to praise them and respect them in
Yeah,
good regard, and
100%.
because I also feel like though my experience may be this, it doesn't mean that will be your experience. So
Right.
if I talk down, I could be blocking an opportunity for you to do amazing things with the person. So I want to also speak highly of them, like, yeah, that's my sister, blah, 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 whatever it is. You know, she
Yes.
does this, she does that, she does this,
Right.
to be able to praise them. So that's a real big thing too, because sometimes they'll be like, they're low down, dirty dog. It's like, well, who else are you calling low down, dirty dog?
Right,
Are you
right.
calling
And you
me?
don't, you know, and that's just it. Like, so even coming here, you know, I told my family, I said it's been a very educational time because I haven't been down here in 7 years.
Wow.
I mean, I talk to them, but it's
Mhm.
different when you're here. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
And then the tea gets spilled. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because everybody wants to let you know what's going on, who did
Yeah.
what, and all that. You know,
Yeah.
and just like you said, nobody's family's perfect at
Mhm,
all.
mhm,
You know, but I love them all equally. And I told them I'm not going to take sides, you
mhm.
know, but I'm here to equally love y'all. And if I can help reconcile some differences, maybe, or maybe
Yeah.
just some miscommunications or
Mhm, mhm.
feelings that maybe need just to get acknowledged for us to be able to move past a point, you know, that's what I'm
Yeah.
here to do. And that's what I'm, you know, wanting to do. But yeah, because how you speak about them, it matters.
Mhm.
And not only that, like, you know, what my brother might do professionally versus what my sister might do professionally, like I might be able to, hey, go check my sister out at her bar, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And then
Mhm.
like, yo, you get there and you might not want to tip her because you thought you didn't like something I said about her, you know, you
Mhm.
feeling some type of
Mhm.
way. Instead of, if I'm praising her and be like, yo, she's the dopest at what she does, now you're
Yeah.
gonna tip her real nice, and
Yeah.
you're gonna make sure she's doing well, you know. Or my
Right.
brother, you know, he's a big wig for some fitness equipment type of company, you know, and he might be
Mhm.
able to bless you with a dope gym set at your
Mhm.
house, you
Yeah.
know, or you know, however it looks.
Yeah.
So you just never know, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really good. Okay. So, and how you engage and treat people, all great things because that shows you a mirror of how they would treat you. But with
Absolutely.
you listing loyalty, integrity, and respect,
Mm.
has that always been the top qualities when you look for a friend?
As a kid, I would say yes, but I didn't know what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It wasn't until I went into the military that I even understood what
Mm-hmm.
honor, integrity, and morals and values truly were.
Uh-huh.
You know, I had right before I went to the military, it was my first experience with learning about God in a Southern Baptist Convention church in
Mm-hmm.
California called St. Stephen's Missionary Baptist Church,
Okay.
with my godfather, rest in peace, and my godmother. And they really, you know, real strong Southern Black roots. You know, she's from Shreveport, Louisiana, and he was from Maryland, you know, Aberdeen, Maryland. And so to really get, you know, he was a Black Panther, you know, so it's like to really learn my heritage, you know, and I'm a light bright. You know, this is really fair skin for me even talking to you right now. I'm sitting here looking at pictures. I actually sent you a picture, one of the pictures of me when I was just a kid, just kind of, you know, give you a little bit of history on that. But
Mhm.
to really hone in on what you were saying, I didn't appreciate the values of it until I was like 19, 20. And then I started to kind of find who I really was as a man, you know, and really coming into my own. And my fullness is like, this is the type of person I am and I will only associate with. And even more so now, like I'd say in the last 5 to 7 years, maybe 10, is when I really started to develop the self-worth, the self, right? The self-love that I've always deserved and didn't realize I did, and then that was when it was about 2017, I just cold turkey cut a lot of people off. Like I didn't tell them why. I just walked away. My dad made sure to let me know, like, I didn't owe them an explanation. It was something that you just have to love yourself enough to walk away. And then, should that conversation come up, fine, tell them what happened, but love yourself enough to always walk away from something that's not good for you. And so here we are today. And, God has blessed me with some new friends who have the same morals, same values, a lot of which what we've talked about, just openly I would see, like they'd be like, oh, hold up, I got to take a phone call from my mom or my brother or my cousin or whatever, and you just get to see the interaction, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's really big. As a young person, we just kind of connect with people and we can find out or feel if it's not like a good fit, and we know to try to get ourselves out of that situation.
Right.
But due to peer pressure or wanting to be seen, wanting to be
100%.
loved, wanting to be a part, you kind of like to take somebody and their loyalty is not that good. They loyal when they're in your face. When they're not in your face, they talking down about you, right?
Come on.
Or not even respecting you. Or sometimes you're amongst others and they're disrespecting. It's like, but I thought you was my friend. You're doing this in front of other people. Oh, and depending on your upbringing, you was ready to like put on a Vaseline, put your jeans on, and buck
Let's
up.
go. Yeah, knuckle up, bro. Come on, let's get it. Yeah, that's real.
And then sometimes you were just walking away, where it's like, you know what? Let me just walk away because it's not even worth it. And as you get older and trying to find out what it is that you really want, trying to find out who it is you really are, it's a process of that blend of finding out, do I still want to be a part of this person's life? But that walk away with no explanation, that's big.
Yeah. I mean, it was hard. It was hard to get to that place in my life because most of my life I've been a knuckle up kid. You know what I mean? And because I'm fair skinned, like certain communities, they just wouldn't let me fit in. So I was like, deemed like a black sheep, black swan, however you want to talk about it, right? Like, so I've always had to kind of be a chameleon, and then I realized that being a chameleon was good for my survival mode, but being who I am is good for me. And so when I started to just love myself, it was like, man, I won't do that anymore. I had to just cut you off and walk away. And it's funny because out of the people who I cut off and walked away, God brought certain ones of them back into my life, right? Because they were morally sound. I was just done with that lifestyle. And so they too had been drawn away from that lifestyle in the, the heavy sense that they were doing it, just partying and going out to clubs and, living the fast life, you know?
Being a chameleon. Whoo.
Yeah. Right.
You adjusting to the atmosphere instead of letting the atmosphere adjust to you, right?
Correct.
And that's so big, where we feel like we got to do what we got to do to fit in, but being who I am is good for me. Those are good nuggets. Good.
Thanks. I think it's all something that we can take away, and just in general in life. I think that's one of maybe my purposes on earth, is to give back to people in general, like gems like that, but also like young men who are being raised up. I want them to see like how to treat women, how to treat themselves, because a woman is only going to treat you how you treat yourself. And you'll only allow what type of woman in your life based on how you're treating yourself. And that was something hard I had to learn too, but that's another conversation.
Wait, let's turn on the street for a second.
Okay.
What has caused you to feel that you want to be that mentor? Who impacted your life where you feel like, hey, I can't do this either. I want to do different. But now that I am doing different, I now want to help somebody else. What helped you to get on that path?
There was two. I would say there was two major milestones in my life that really did that. The first was when I was like 15 and a half, 16. And I was wannabe gang banging, I was smoking all the weed, drinking all the drink, not really just listening in church. I'd go to church once in a while with my parents, but I didn't really care. I was just there because I had to, and then my mom had enough, and she, her and my dad got into it about me. And my dad was like, "Oh, he's just being a boy, blah blah blah." My mom was like, "No, I'm not going to see my son in jail or dead. This is not going to happen." And so they talked to my grandma and got me down to living with my godparents, Eugene and Sarah Adams. Shout out to you guys. I love you guys. I'm definitely going to make sure they see this, because it's literally, they were a pivotal part of my youth. They never once had to raise a hand to discipline me. They utilized techniques and fundamental stuff that I, moving forward when I have kids, will definitely be utilizing, because I don't think that everything that a child does needs a physical spanking. I don't, spare the rod, spoil the child. I do believe in that, but I think that there are other aspects that you can do to correct a child's behavior, as was done to me, that was a turning point for me. So Eugene Adams and Sarah Adams, definitely when I was like in that 16 realm, Eugene, he told me, he said, why don't you give God a mustard seed of faith and tell me how it works out? And I did. I was walking to school one day. I had to go to an alternative school because I started even being bad down there in California. I had moved from Washington to California, and I was being bad and, trying to still get my hands dirty, and doing dumb stuff. And that day that I gave God a mustard seed of faith changed my life forever. I, I don't, I don't, I talk about it all the time. It's my testimony that really, when I met God, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and, then, went to the military. Fast forward, I had allowed myself, prior to when I said learning to walk away, I had allowed myself to be in relationships. I was actually just talking to my brother about this 2 nights ago. I had allowed myself to be in relationships, that were not good for me, that were unhealthy, whether it was platonic or intimate. And, I was angry. I was angry, and I was just like, why am I so angry? And realizing, like, one, sure, there was some trauma from childhood, right, that had happened, but mainly it was that I wasn't loving myself, and I was mad at me for not respecting me. And that was 2017. I found this out towards the end. So then, excuse me, I'd say like the full year of 2018, it was the Sunday before Christmas Eve, 2018. I fell to my knees crying and just was like, God, please take all of this from me. Take my anger, take any of this away from me, because this is not who I am. I am not an angry person. I don't have anger in my heart. I just want to love people. And that person who helped me recognize all that from 2017 to then, is Pastor Caesar Prelau from my church. He's a brother from, the South as well. And it was just really, really helpful. At first, I was a knucklehead. Yeah, I didn't want to talk to him. I was like, no, I got this. I'm good, and I'd say she's like a second mother, but she's one of the elders from the church. And she goes, no, really, you should give him a shot, JR. Go ahead, do that. And my family calls me JR.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you should give him a shot, JR. And I was like, okay. And then for the last 7 years, every week we met. And within 4 years, like, I was able to look at my old self and not recognize him. And that was when I was like, I cried to Pastor Prelau, just thanking him, you know, for showing me the love. And you just, no, brother, that's the love God shows all of us and wants all of us to show each other. So don't thank me, thank God, you know? And I was just like, whew, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much, those are the two people in particular that, you know, helped me out in that sense. There was a couple more hands in it, don't get me wrong. But when we just talk about milestones that really just, I look to as life-changing events in my life, if you will.
I like it. It goes to the piece of it takes a village, you know.
100%. Oh
Your
my
mom reached
goodness.
out to somebody who she felt,
Yes.
look, I need help.
Yes.
She was humble in it. That's really big to send your child to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
The different thoughts that can go through your mind of like, I know it's my child, but I can't do it. I need somebody help. But to be
Yeah.
able to get that help, commendable, hats off, you know, to her as well.
Yes.
Um,
And
but then when you talked about, you know, relationships and things of that sort, that's pretty big too. But you said that I allowed myself to be in relationships that weren't necessarily the greatest. And
mm,
it triggered to me that we have a choice. And sometimes we don't use our choices wisely. It's like
no,
the red pill or the blue pill, which one you want?
that's right.
And we're trying to get the best of both worlds. And then we
Yeah.
find out both of them made me no
Don't work.
good.
That's right.
And being able to step back away from that when you feel like, well, everybody else in a relationship, I want to be in a relationship, or I want this, or whether it's the friendship and you're getting something from it, the romantic and you're getting something from it. Either
Yeah.
way, you're getting something from it where you feel like you want to be there. But there's also an unbalance of feeling fully fulfilled and things of that sort. Like,
That's
you know,
right.
being upset that you wasn't loving yourself. You wasn't loving yourself because you were accepting these things, thinking it's good because like I'm in a relationship, I got a
Mm-hmm.
friend, I got this.
Yeah.
And it don't mean you know good. And that's
No.
hard too. Because people want to be around other people. We do want that
Right.
connection. We want that friendship. We do want that significant other. But sometimes we don't make the right choices.
No, we don't. And that's the funny part is where we were put here to be involved and engaged with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So to, you know, I think that's one of the another pivotal things that happened to me too is like 2021. It's like when you're involved with other people or when you start to see the changes in your own self, like have you been doing the work? Like have you been going to counseling? Have you sought out counseling or help of some sort, whether you're paying for it $150 an hour or you're going to the church and having a pastor be your counselor? Like what are you doing to do the hard work, so regardless you are healthy, right? Your mental health is better, your love for yourself is better, and then everybody around you benefits.
You said one of my favorite words, counseling, because I really do try to work to normalize the importance of us addressing our mental health.
Yeah,
Depression is real, anxiety is real,
for
being
sure.
overwhelmed is real. I mean, I'm working on a project at work, and sometimes I'm like, if you all say this word one more time, you
Yeah,
know,
seriously.
so
Yeah.
it was funny. I did the icebreaker today, and it was talking about the two lumberjacks, and with the two
Okay.
lumberjacks, they're both working, and one is like steady going, but the other, the older, more experienced, he's taking a break every hour. And
Yeah.
the younger guy's like, "How did you?" And at the end, the older guy had cut more wood, trees down, and the young guy's like, "How did you do that? I'm more fit. I'm this. I'm that. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And you were taking breaks." He said, "Yeah, I took a break and I sharpened my axe to be able to go back out there again." And in that, whatever it is that we're doing, we have to take a break. If it's not good, you trying to just keep going at it, going at it, going at it, and it's not working until you benefit, you know. So we have to be in a place to be able to sharpen the tools that we have, sharpening the relationships that we have, because we can keep on going and then it didn't yield as much as it could have yielded if we
Come
would
on.
have taken time to really evaluate it a little bit more.
That iron sharpening iron is
Yeah.
so pivotal. And regardless if you are are religious or believe in God or not, that
Mhm.
it is a staple to life that is, one man strengthening another, one woman strengthening another, a community strengthening each other. You can do so much more together.
So since you came into the light, what has helped you to stay on track and make better choices? Because and to be kind to yourself, because a lot of times we get into situations and then we beat ourselves up, right? But when
Yeah.
we make it out, it's like we are hesitant to go into a situation again because we feel like, am I gonna mess up again? What has been your survival technique for that type of situation?
Prayer, straight up prayer. And then once I, can shake to a degree enough of whether it's anxiety, sadness, maybe the start of depression, and I'm not really knowing exactly what's going on. The word, music for sure, finding something healthy to do, versus backpedaling and backsliding into my old habits that did not serve me any good purpose, right? And that is like, I have to remind myself, even being here and helping, to um, have the challenging conversations with two people in my family that I love very much so and dearly, to be able to get them to see, like, hey, you should be ready for this person's apology, and you have God work on your heart. And like, I don't think either of them really understood the depth of what it meant to me to have to go through that. But then it was like coming home, and my sister-in-law's like, you should probably take a break. Go ahead. I'll catch up with you after you decompress. And I was so grateful that she was able to like see that, that I needed to just go ahead and decompress. And that's
Yeah.
literally what I did. I got into the word, listened to some music. I actually played a little bit of video games, and just chilled for a minute. And then I was able to go out, and then like 20, 30 minutes later, and was like, okay, what's going on? How's it going? And get back to it.
It's so important, that break. And it looks different for everybody.
It really does.
I could just put on my do not disturb and nobody's bothering me. Nobody send me a message. I don't gotta, be bothered with people. I used to really be heavy into Korean drama, but it just sucks me up because the episodes are so long and there's so many in the series. Right. But I do whatever it is that can help me to kind of woosah, get a break to be able to go back and fresh. I was sharing today too, like, sometimes you got to take a day off. We get PTO at our jobs, and it racks up and racks up. And then they're like, hey, you need to take so much time before you lose it. Right. I don't want to lose no money, one. But I also want to be able to take the time that I need off, because one, if you were to go today, they are cleaning out your desk and finding somebody to replace you. Though they're sad that you're gone, they have to still find somebody to replace you. So you want to be able to take the time that you need, rest as you should, go to the doctor as you should to make sure everything is going well. Because as we get older, that snap, crackle, pop is real. So we want to make sure.
Come on, that Rice Krispie treat don't lie, does it? Come on.
We gotta take a break. We can't run like the whippersnappers. And to some extent you can, but you still have to keep breaking that. It's not 100%. As it was as a kid. You fall down, you break something, it's gonna take us a little longer.
Take a little bit longer. That's right.
21 plus some, so being able to take that break, being able to regroup. And then when you go back, you got a fresh set of eyes. Either you're like, you know what, yes, 100%. We're going to keep going, or nope, let's stop.
Yeah,
for
important. Sure. I think the other part I do, working out, that's like a huge thing that I do. For some, it's not even that it getting the endorphins going, right? But I think it's just the consistency, right? Because I think it also implies self-love, right? Because I'm going for me, but it also allows me to, if I have any type of whatever, it allows me to just kind of work it off, So
very good, very good. And again, you find what works for your friends. Some like to shop, some like to drink, some like to smoke. Be careful doing those things because it hurts your body.
Yeah, listen, come on, seriously.
I just want to be clear too. I'm saying find what works for you, but
I mean, everybody's different. I mean, and that it did used to be my thing. You know what I mean? So like, no shots fired here on my part to anybody out there who's watching this right now at all whatsoever. Even in part of my life, it's just not. It's not for me, and that's not how I. Right. Yeah.
Right. And I'm saying, like, even when you are doing it, the hope is that you're doing it in moderation, not knocking nobody drinks. I know some people that, could swim with the strongest and things of that sort. Yes. But they still doing it in moderation. They're not out here just going out and then out of control of things. You want to still have some decorum to be able to do your livelihood, because if you're too drunk, they're gonna say, you need to go home for the rest of the day. You keep coming too many times drunk, you need to go to somebody's rehab. So again, being in moderation or whatever it is.
Moderation, responsible with it, 100%. It matters.
Absolutely. Because there's too many DUIs that happen, the drunk drivers and things that's harming people. We want to just be mindful because our decisions do impact so many other people.
Right. Safety first.
Yeah. Gotta throw it out my little.
I like it. No, please do. Absolutely. I stand 10 toes on that one with you.
Yeah. But yes, I like this. Another thing I try to do too is like friendships or people coming into my life. I remember one time this girl came, she's like, "Oh, we're gonna be the best of friends." And I was like,
Yeah.
red flag. That's not how I work, right?
That's not how it
Um,
works. No.
that or maybe that is how she works, but that doesn't work well for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
If so, you
right.
should have kept that in your head and not said it out to me because now you're like running clear from you.
Yeah.
Um, but I do a prayer of God. If they're meant to be a part of my life, let them stay. If they're not
Right.
meant to be a part of my life, let them go.
Let them exit.
Um,
Yeah.
and though there are seasons sometimes where people are part of our lives, being okay when their season is over, which can be hard because sometimes we think that they're supposed to be with us forever, and that doesn't always happen. But that really is a process of being open to the possibility that they may be there today, maybe going
Yeah.
tomorrow. Um, because it's also like, what can I get? How can, say like the drama triangle, what can I get from you before I'm the victim or I'm the rescuer or I'm the persecutor of
Right.
finding what works best? But that's a big part too of like knowing those that are around us. If they are in for the long haul, we may or may not know.
Yeah.
And being okay for that short haul. How have you embraced the seasons of people coming and going and coming and all that fun jazz?
This is actually great because I actually recently faced this exact situation that we're talking about recently. So coming into 2024, um, God had shown me that a couple of people in my life were no longer going to be a part of my life. And I was like, what? Like, why? But I was like, can you just at least show me? I know it's not my business because you see things that I don't see and we don't see. So, but could you at least just show me? And one of them, like, he kind of showed me like a vision, like I was dreaming and like woke up out of my sleep about this person. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm gonna let that go, and then the other one, it was more like in my face because I think I was being stubborn about letting go. Like it was uh, that that point of like disrespect, but I want to like give the person a chance because I know they're going through counseling and doing their thing to heal, but it wasn't conducive with what God has for my life, right? And I had done, apparently I had done my part in that person's life, and that was where the line was drawn for God and as far as this person being in my life. And so two people in particular have exited my life, and um, it was a little hard, but here we are today, and I'm healthier, I'm happier, I'm not stressed out, I'm not worried about what they're doing or saying, or the unnecessary drama coming to me. That isn't my problem, and so it's challenging, but like I said, I wouldn't have been able to make that discerning step and action, take that action in my life, had I
Mhm.
not learned to love myself, had I
Mm.
not taken those lessons that God, I kept bumping and stubbing each toe I had, I promise you,
Uh,
just to get to where I'm at today with being able to be like, nah, you can't.
mhm.
Yeah, God says no, so deuces,
Yeah, that's big. That part of giving people a chance. There was
because
a
that's human, right? You want to.
you want to, and they continue to make a fool out of you, and
Yeah,
then you feel stupid a little bit too, because like I should have been let them go.
yeah,
So that's that part of being kind to yourself because I get of trying to give them another chance. I've had situations where you give them another chance, give them another chance, and like you're explaining to them what it is that you need. They're like, I'm sorry, I'll do
mhm,
better, or whatever is happening,
right.
and it doesn't change. And after a while, it's like I don't have any more to give.
No,
And that's a hard place to be because you do care for the person, you do want well for them, but I've also come to the place of I can no longer fight to be a part of somebody's life that doesn't want me to be a part of their life. If I'm
boom.
bothering you, let me know. If you bother me, I'm gonna let you know. But even that is a place of maturity of if you don't want me, it's okay.
Yeah, well, and
Somebody else does.
boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much said it. Like, I just think that it's one of those things where it's like I gotta let you go because as much as you want to be a part of my life, you are consistently showing me that you don't want to be a part of my life. And for that reason, goodbye.
But that part you said about stubborn of letting go, because again, you're holding on so much, and it's like I saw this image before. It was so powerful of you holding on to a rope, and it is
Yeah.
literally harming you. You're literally bleeding from it. And you're lollygagging, doing everything, and
Hmm.
you don't realize how it's hurting you so much. And when you finally let it go, then you can heal. You can move forward and
Right.
embrace those that are able to like pour back into you. But that stubbornness can get you because you feel like we've been together so long, we've been friends so long, or we haven't been friends that long, but you just clicked and it was like, I don't want to let you go.
Facts.
It's a process.
It was yeah, that the letting go part took probably like 3.5 months. And that was 3.5 months too long, you know. And it was the nail in the coffin was like it's I was somber. And when I was saying goodbye, it was like, I love you, but I don't want you in my life anymore. And that was like, I was like, oh, this is real. Okay. You know, because there's no more, there'll be no more of that, man.
Yeah.
There'll be no more of that, sir. You know?
Mhm. And it's funny too because like some situations we know that the season has ended, but
Mm,
it's that chance bubble that you keep going through. And then when it finally does break, it hurts even more. And it's like, had I just stopped it when I knew I was supposed to stop it, it wouldn't hurt so much. Now I got all this blood coming out and I gotta like put all these different packs on to keep it together.
yeah.
Um, but if we really pay attention, we can again because we'll see the red flags. We're like, oh, this is the circus. This is how it's supposed to be. That's not really red. That's pink. Oh, that one's orange. No, we need to get away from all of it. You know, if it's not
Man.
giving into you of what it is that you need, where
Big
you're
sis.
feeling respected, where you're feeling like, you know, they're loyal to you, you feeling like their integrity. It comes back to those three pieces too of are your needs being fulfilled from that? If it's not, it no longer serves you. We're no
Yeah,
longer in kindergarten because it no longer serves us. We're old. I mean, we should
absolutely.
not be 21 and above in kindergarten, but there are
No,
some
no.
but it no longer serves us. That's why it's a graduation from kindergarten into elementary, a graduation from
Yes.
elementary to middle, graduation from middle to high
Hmm.
school. You go to college, trade school, life, it's a graduation.
That's right.
And being okay with that process as much as it hurts, because going from being a kid to an adult is not all that I thought it would be.
Come on, man. Adulting is harder than. Listen, I miss my kindergarten naps now. You dig?
Yes.
Like, I wish I could. I wish I could pull out a mat and get my little apple juice and snacks and lay
Oh,
down for an
yeah, we
hour.
were missing
You
out. And I tell kids now, you don't even know you want this nap. Go to
yeah, you
sleep.
want this? Like, enjoy it.
Because when you get older, it's no such thing.
Oh, there's no.
But it's a reward in that too of seeing the progress that you have made. The ups, the downs. Adulthood is for sure a roller coaster
Yeah.
of the people that have come into our lives, the people that have done us good, the people that have done us
Hmm.
wrong, the lessons we've learned.
Yeah.
But I think the important part too that I also want us to highlight is hmm, still being open to
Mm.
new people that come. Because though I did
Correct.
have that bad experience, that doesn't mean the next person
Yes.
will be a bad experience.
That's
So
right.
what has helped you, even though it was hard in those 3 months to finally let it go? What keeps you open, or are you open to new friendships? Because you know they be like, no new friends, no new friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need new friends.
Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely.
so what keeps you open to that? Not harboring on the bad that may have happened from past relationships and friendships and things of that sort
Mhm.
to
That's
embrace
a
new.
that's a great question. I think I'm being single, whatever, right now, um, as well as being open to new friends. Really, it boils down to um, I'm a lover, and I'm willing to give people a chance. And it maybe not everybody gets a chance because just the discernment factor of it. But in general, yeah, like I'm a friendly man. I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm gonna see what's going on, see what's popping. Are we commingling well? Like, is this like, are the conversations the same? And um especially, like I said, those key attributes that I would say are pivotal as far as like uh who they are as a person. And so, yeah, like I think if, with the direction that I'm headed right now, business wise, with real estate and schooling and my music and such, as well as seeking maybe small roles in acting, as well. I think that is a trajectory that if somebody was, maybe it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but if they had ambitions, you know what I mean, for their life to be a better person and wake up and want to do better daily, those things matter, because it's not just the Bible that I read. I read self-help books. I've got a list of books. I've already read 11, 12 books already. This year I try and read at least a couple books a month, just for self, like the Four Agreements, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. What was there was a new one, that the Tipping Point, that I just caught up with. And so there's just different aspects to, I think, seeing where somebody's at that makes it be like, okay, I could be your friend because I know you're gonna push me and I'm gonna push you, but it's out of love because I want the best for you, and it's selfless. I just want to see you do good since you're in my presence and we're on the same page. It's not a competition with you. I'm always in a competition with myself. So
Yes.
don't, anything I give you is out of love. It's not because I expect something in return. It's because I just want to see you do good in your life.
Totally good. I recently saw a post that was talking about this of genuinely wanting good for the other people. And if you want that for the other
Yes.
people around you, then they then want to do good, want good for you and want to help you find what
Yes.
that is. So that's really good. Really good. So we talked about singlehood and things of that
Mm-hmm.
sort.
Sure.
And you say, like, if you have children, if you were to have children, how you would do that with your kids and things of that sort. Do you feel that you are behind the ball because you have so many different things that you're working on, like, because others, like, it's like keeping up with the Joneses, you feel like you are behind?
I wouldn't say that I'm behind. I think the shelf life for most men is pretty long as far
Mm-hmm.
as that's concerned, and most men build their value as they get older in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because most of us, statistically speaking, don't really mature in our 20s, right? Like most don't. Come on, right? So I feel like as you're building value as a man, it puts you in a better place to be able to be like, yeah, I'm ready for this. And I think that's part of where I'm at in my life, where I was actually talking to my sister-in-law about this the other day. It's like I'm not rushing to seek it lustfully as I was. Like, do I have I do people catch my eye? Sure, right? We're human.
Right.
But in the ultimate sense, yeah, absolutely. I feel like if God was to be like, here, because beauty fades, but this is what she looks like on the inside. Okay,
Yes.
dope. I'm here for it. Do I want her to be beautiful? Absolutely. Who doesn't want somebody that they can be attracted to day in and
Yeah.
day out?
Yeah.
But I also fully believe, right? Like, if you genuinely are loving that person, she'll become more attractive to you,
Mm-hmm.
or he will, for
Yeah.
for sisters
Yeah.
out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that your significant other, will say it like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. Yeah, it's so important. But yeah, I'm definitely open to it. Definitely, um, I actually would like to make new male friends who are are very much so, on that trajectory of getting
Mm-hmm.
to the bag. You know what
Gotcha.
I mean? But also we have family values in play, whether they
Mm-hmm.
have a family already or they're like, I think it's time. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
So it was hard at first to ask the question because though that is a question, the other part of it is really be able to encourage others that feel like they are missing, being
Yeah.
okay with where you are in life because there's so many different things to do. I was talking to a friend a couple years ago. She was like, "Well, if you had that, would you be doing what you're doing?" I was like, ain't nobody asked you because there's different things that you have to do to,
Yeah.
feel fulfilled and establish your own self before adding somebody else
Yeah.
to the equation. Like, no, I'm looking for my other half. You want to make sure that you got some pieces together because it's times that they won't be able to fulfill these little holes or expectations that
Right.
you have. Um,
That's
so
true.
really just be able to encourage the viewer
Very
that
true.
though it's not at the time frame what you thought it was. You know,
Yeah.
I'll hear girls, it was like, yeah, I thought I was going to be married with kids at 25. They pushing 30, 35. What I'm saying is it don't always work that way. And just
No.
being okay with the process that you have, because there are some that have rushed into situations.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Fortunately, some
Mhm.
do work out. It's different for
Right.
everybody, but really finding out what works best for you and being open to that, embracing the process, however long it takes, because you can get
Oh,
something
yeah.
or you can get something.
Yeah.
You just
You
want to get
know,
the right something.
you want to write something. That was about to say that's the key right there, is getting the right for it. And I think that's where the patience is
Yeah.
involved, right? Because I think so often, as you have probably experienced and know of, right, we
Mhm.
just jump off into something because we're feeling lonely or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think as some people catch it when they're young, they catch the rhythm and stride of like finding quality when they're young, and that's amazing and that's beautiful, and I support that 100%. But not all
Mhm.
of us do it. You know what I mean? Some of us are a
Right.
little bit more stubborn and hard headed going in through it. You know, whereas now where you're approaching your 30s, in your 30s, approaching your
Mhm.
40s, in your 40s, like you want to settle down. You
Yeah.
want that, you want those family values acted
Mhm.
on. You want to be able to come home to the same person. You're tired
Right.
of doing the, you know what I mean, the dating game. And
Mhm.
why a lot of people say like, you know, online dating is you know, basically dead. And it's like it's challenging because you're like everybody's the same when it's not everybody. Some people just like to meet in person. You know what I mean? Those of us who do click online, that's a beautiful thing because I know plenty of people who have met and online and honestly been married within 6 months. Blew my mind, and they're still married today, and they're 15 years long. You know,
Wow.
like it's but just like you said, like, to each their own as far as like how that goes.
Mhm.
But I definitely would want to, you know, piggyback what you were saying on encouraging the viewer to do what works best for them, for
Mhm.
sure. Because what's best for you or myself, Jen, is not going to be best for everybody. But I
Mhm.
think ultimately seeking happiness within your finding happiness within yourself will
Yeah.
definitely attract what you are really looking for genuinely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And baby, when I tell you those rose-colored glasses, you
Come
think you
on.
found something good, and you find out,
It's just a shade off of what you thought it was.
this is a little moldy, and I eat some blue cheese, but I don't want this kind of mold.
No, cool. Yeah, right. No, that's
It comes
real.
to that process, and it comes to that part of like, when I was actually like what your top three were, because we have to know what it is that we want, what it is that we need, because
Mhm.
we will settle for anything. We will make that choice for something that's like, I don't even know what I was thinking.
Whew.
Yeah.
Listen, and that's why I'm being patient now because
Yeah.
as much as like I feel like you know, there are opportunities to be had,
Mhm.
are they actually the right ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And because not everybody thinks the same, and
Mhm.
you know, some people are quick to run out of a relationship. And
Mhm.
I think certain values that I do hold are a little old school,
Mhm.
and not everybody is willing to be old school, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's okay. But like in the sense, like, yeah, I'm not. I want to ride it till the wheels fall off with you. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mhm.
Let's if we got to go to counseling, if we got to sit down and talk about this, if we got to do it, but I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm not running out
Mhm.
the house.
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
leaving you. Like, especially if you haven't done like the, you know, like abuse, like hardcore abuse or
Yeah.
cheated on
Yeah.
me or anything. Like, if it's something that we can really talk out, let's talk it out, you know?
So this is where I don't want to say the hard part, but the split in the role comes.
Okay.
Because if you have been in situations that have not been the healthiest,
Okay.
when the good comes along, it's like, why are you trying? You like, your traditional values in this, or why
Yeah.
are you trying to do it that way? It seems off. It's like something's fishy. Now we're seeing a red flag. I didn't see it when it was really crazy, and
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
But because it is good, it is healthy. Sometimes
Mhm.
people fight against that, you
Yeah.
know, because I
Don't they ever?
in different, huh?
I said, don't they ever go
Yeah.
against it?
In different situations, you could connect with somebody. You feel like, this ain't it, or you're accustomed to it because whatever, like that. It's still respectful, but it's still some things that's not on your expectations or what it is that you're looking for. But then you meet
Right.
somebody else and they're like checking all the boxes. It's like something wrong with you. You got a six toe, you know.
No, that's so right. It leaves you very skeptical for sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Because it hasn't been all peaches and cream
yeah,
throughout the other ones. So
yeah.
what's really going on here? You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
I've definitely, I think that was the last girl I dated. That was kind of the thing with her. Like she didn't realize that she had a good man in her life until I was like, I'm gone.
yeah,
Because you know what I mean? Like you kept treating me like all the other dudes that you were in your life, like I was one of them. And then you seem like I never raised my voice at you. I didn't yell at you. I didn't call you out your name. I respected you the whole time. And I told you what I was going to do if you did what you did, and you did it, and I walked away. And now you just like, wait, hold up, hold up. And it's too late.
yeah,
I ain't got time for that.
yeah. And that's really important for those that are tuning in, those that are listening, that you have to really wipe the slate clean for a new person because you never know
You
what you
have
could be
to. Right.
missing out on if you're caught up on the old.
That's right.
It's some bad things that you may have been through, but there are, it's like, God, please send me a good man, give me a good
Come on.
man. You see a good man, then you
Yeah.
treat him like trash. We can't do that. We have
Mm.
to really be intentional, and like that prayer comes in.
Ooh. Say
It
that
was
again. Intentional.
intentional. It was a guy, and I was like, God,
Mm.
I don't remember what my prayer was actually, but what
Mm-hmm.
I will say is God told me to be quiet. Yep, it wasn't a prayer. God told me to
Ooh.
be quiet, and then I just started paying attention. I was like, yeah, this ain't it.
Mm.
And then it happened where like we sabotage and things of that sort. And then
Yeah.
there's situations where God is saying, or another time I was like, God, if this ain't it, I want what you want from me. When I
Yeah.
tell you that man put up stop signs and brakes and construction and stuff, I think you moving fast now, but what I be thanks you? Calm down, calm down. But I was grateful too because we could get on that boat and be out in the middle of the sea thinking that it's something, and we out on that boat by ourselves.
Yeah.
So really the intentional piece of being intentional, what is it that you're looking for? Having those good conversations to find out if it does mesh up, because you could like click and things that sort, and you ain't had a good heavy conversations to find out. It was like, oh wait, you do that? You don't do that?
Come
I thought
on.
everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Finding where you're at.
Right. You got to do that. And I think that's you started to just take the words out of my mouth with that, because I feel like I call them hard conversations,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the time they are hard to those who aren't used to having them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not prepared to emotionally have them, because maybe what like they are seeking from their partner, their future partner, they
Yeah.
are not healed and ready for to give their partner, but they want what they're not willing to give.
Hmm.
And so then you run into a situation with somebody where that's literally the case, and now the relationship has failed yet again, and you're scratching your head. Why is this going on? And that's why, like in the beginning of our conversation, when you asked me that, that's why the healing is so important. Seeking
Yes.
counseling is so important,
Yes.
because if
Yes.
you're not willing to do the hard work for yourself, don't expect somebody else to give you that. Don't expect them to give you the world if you can't give them the world. What does that look like?
Mm.
And so that's why, one of my brothers tried telling me that my expectations were too high, and
Mm.
my values for what I wanted in a woman was too high. And I said no. No,
Mm.
I did the work. She can
Mhm.
do the work. And
Mm.
if she hasn't done the work, she's not for me.
Absolutely.
Like that's just the
Absolutely.
bottom line. That's just the bottom line. So I think for anybody listening, like when you learn to love yourself,
Mhm.
like, and I said this originally, like when you learn to love yourself, others will treat you that same way. When you
Yes.
set those personal boundaries for yourself and learn to
Mhm.
set them, because they're not easy to learn. It's not easy to do.
Ooh.
It's not. It takes
Right.
hard work. It
Yeah.
takes like diligence on your own behalf of like, did I do the right thing? And then when you don't do the right thing, when you don't set the right boundary, now you gotta go, oh, and you gotta double back and go,
Yeah.
hey, I really didn't like that. I'm so sorry that I told you that was okay. It's really not okay.
Mhm.
And be firm on it, because it's you loving you. And every time that you do make it, even if it's just in increments or in strides,
Yeah.
it becomes more of who you are, and then what you want is attracted to you. And
Mhm.
when you and don't go seeking it all the time. That's the biggest thing that I used to do, is always seek and seek and seek and seek. And
Mhm.
what in the sense of physically actively going out there to the clubs thinking I'm finna find this right.
Yeah.
Not the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you put it out there, but speak it into existence. I
Yeah.
will have this person in my life. I will be
Mm-hmm.
this person for her. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's gonna come. That's why I think I'm being patient now, because I know for a fact all
Yes.
the sowing. We've been in church talking about this. You
Mm-hmm.
reap what you sow. It's a big
Yes.
thing. What are you sowing right now, so that when
Mm-hmm.
that harvest comes to you, you can rightfully reap it and know you deserve it.
And know you deserve it. It's some people are against the word manifest.
Mm, I think that because there's some hard negative aspects to it, right?
Yes.
Right, because if you're doing it from a dark space,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right, then that's when you're gonna run into not being
Yeah.
in true alignment with what it is, right?
Yes.
For instance, like, if I mean, I don't like to dog on other people and what they believe in per se, but like, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, we'll say it like that. If you're trying to manifest something for the wrong reasons, for the most selfish reasons, you might end up with something worse than what you thought, right? Whereas if you are just speaking something good into, like, speaking life and death, right? That's the power of the tongue, right? So if you're speaking life and I will have a good thing, the person in front of me, if they cut me off, you know what? Bless them and they will get where they're going safely, right? And then you might find that you get every green light driving down the road from there on out. But it's
Right.
how you were able to, to do
Yeah.
that, that made the difference, and that goes into all relationships, let
Mm-hmm.
alone finding your partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Same thing, and it also blends in with like affirmations, and on the positive
Affirmations,
side
you,
of that manifest, because
ooh,
it can look dark, it can look grim, it can look, look, the family's telling you, your expectations are high. This is what I see for myself. This is what I want for myself. This is
right,
what I speak for myself. Um,
yes,
the Bible says death and life is in the power of the tongue. So if I'm saying something, I should be saying something that's going to be able to give what it is that I'm trying to get, what it is that I want. Now, granted, I can ask for some things that are not realistic, and Jesus like, that is not what I have for you. We figure out, we negotiate. Um, and then I found out what he had was even better. But the part is still wanting great and expecting great. We could go for a job and we could just settle for it, but sometimes we could also fight for, a higher salary, better
come
benefits, and
on,
things like that. And that's the same with relationships and friendships. Of these are the things that I need to be fully who I am. Being able to communicate that. I was talking to my godson the other day, and bless his heart and his young love with this girl. Bless her
hmm,
heart too. For nevertheless,
yes,
but we're talking about things that are happening. He was like, I don't like that guy, mom. I feel like she needs to tell me everything that happened through her day. Did you ask her? Did you tell her that? No. You know what? You a genius guy, mom. I'm ask her. But again,
yeah,
we have to communicate to find out what
communication,
it is that we need. And
that's right,
if they can give it, they'll give it. If they can't, they can't. But at least we need to
yeah,
let them know this is what I need. I need you to check in.
that's
However
right,
many times. I need you to say X, Y, and Z because this makes me feel good. And I get it because we're not supposed to be they'll say, like, I'm stroking egos or I'm doing this or I'm passing. But again,
yeah,
whatever works for that situation, because they have been through some things, they could be healing from some things, but still
right,
have a little bit of insecurity that needs to be checked every so often.
yeah,
So again, if they're voicing to you what it is they need, being open, if you want to be with that person, if you want to be friends with
right,
that person, to do that to help them feel at ease, because you got some icks and things too that you
yeah,
want them to do, so that
come
street
on.
goes both ways.
It should go both ways, absolutely. And I think that I think that goes into the affirmations aspect, just as far as, um, you know, self affirmations, but positive affirmations, just as a love language, right? Because I think a lot of people don't realize how much positive affirmations do work in them. I know a lot of people enjoy, acts of service, but I feel like when someone's words align with their actions,
Two different things.
you know what I mean? And so if you're going, um, uh, my wife, let's say I'm married, my wife asked me, or my significant other asked me to change this about myself, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're going, this is who I am. this is who I am. And I will
Mm-hmm.
remember to do this today when I'm on my way home. I'll remember to do this today while I'm at work or out and about or whatever. So that way it's like you're feeding yourself love and positivity on their behalf. So it's selfless, but you're actually filling yourself with love. And then because you gave them that love, you're going to get home and something that you maybe have talked about, they'll will have remembered because you triggered the act of love in their life of affirmation of some sort.
Yes.
And you just don't know how it's going to benefit the whole relationship in
Mm-hmm.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
know, it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like, we talked about, I love the five languages with Gary Chapman, but there are more, yes. But I feel like that's a great starting ground. And what you
Yeah.
have to do is just make sure you find out what their love language is. Because
Ooh,
I'm doing extra
love.
search and that's not their love language. It's not
Cool.
knocking it out the park like I thought it was. And I thought I was really doing something. If I think that gifts
Yeah,
is their love language, I'm buying them flowers. I'm buying this, I'm buying
yeah,
that, I'm buying that. And they're like, yeah, that's nice. Well, why don't you wear that? It's not really
mm,
my thing. So you have to find out what it is that makes their love, their
yeah,
heart go pitter patter. And as you do that, you make their heart
yeah,
go pitter patter. They're like, oh, I got to do something to make their heart go pitter
yeah,
patter. Like you said, it goes where it's like, oh, now I don't want to get rid of this. And then if something does happen that's not
mm,
the greatest, that makes you feel sad, you can't communicate so that you're gonna get back on track of, all right, now let's get back to making that heart patter.
right,
And that's that iron sharpening iron too in relationships, that it's not
yeah.
going to always be honeymoon.
Mm-mm. No, it's not. And I think that's the part of it when you say learning their love language, it matters, right? Because it's like I might enjoy singing around the house because I do, right? Like I'm a
Mhm,
singer. That's what I sing and write music. I'm recording an album right now. Like
mhm,
once I get back, my producer hit me up actually 2 days ago since I booked Monday and was like, hey, when you get back, it's go time. Let's knock this album out. And I'm like, all right, let's
mhm.
do it. But it's like, what if my girl doesn't like to be crooned? You know what I mean? I have to respect that that's not her love language. She might like me to just sit there on the couch while she's watching her as what you saying, your Korean
Yeah,
TV
it's not
shows,
Korean
yes,
drama.
right? Korean dramas, right? She might just want me to massage her feet or something. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Like, I don't know, whatever it is that she likes or he
mhm.
likes, that you all got to do that. And
Yeah,
this goes for all the listeners. Like,
right.
that's the key, is finding out what it is that they like,
Yeah.
what makes them tick and talk, and then
Mhm,
doing those things, even if it's not your cup of tea, even if it's something that you've never done. And
mhm.
realistically speaking, I challenge you to do that because it's really going to make you stronger of a person, right?
Yes.
Because you're going to be able to go, hey, I'm willing to learn to make
Mhm.
sure that the person I love
Yes.
feels loved and
Yes.
knows they are loved. Because
Yes.
if you don't, what's the point of it? Like, how they going? You just want them to love you, but you ain't gonna do nothing to love them. That's not
Mhm,
gonna be a healthy relationship. That
mhm,
becomes
mhm.
toxic, and then it's
Toxic.
a failed relationship. And here we are, you starting all over again, and you didn't have to.
Man. Now, I don't know how to play poker, but I take what you say about your singing and I raise, I'm making it up, 5 or 10, whatever. I don't know how to play
Yeah,
because
go
I
ahead.
want to. My desire would be for you to have somebody that does enjoy you singing, right? Because that's something that you enjoy doing.
Boom.
If they don't
Yes.
enjoy you singing, then that's like, oh,
That's a
it's like
that's a,
saying
that should
that
be
you
a
don't like
red
my
flag
hair.
to
I
a
can't take it off. It's
yeah.
part of me.
And oof. And actually, and I'm not gonna hold you. That was the case. Not too maybe a couple months ago, I had met somebody, and off the rip, we were really engaging, and it was cool. And I thought she was great, and she thought I was great. And I mean, we still do have like commonalities that are there that are attractive, but
Mm-mm.
I had to step back and go, like, I am a good man, but if there are qualities about who I am that are always going to be a part of my life and you don't
Mhm.
respect them nor value them the way that they are in my life,
Come
it's just not
on.
going to work. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like, we could keep it the same. Like, if I see you in passing, cool. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're cool. We're civil. No hard feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and spin my wheels like I have in the past.
Yeah.
That's for sure not going to
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
because all it's going to do is one of us are going to end up brokenhearted and mad
Mhm.
at the world. And I don't want any unnecessary counseling.
I get enough. Period.
Come on, man, like, for real, I do. I don't need all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to do that to somebody else either.
Yeah, yeah, but that's so 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 big. I'll never forget one time I was like, "Oh, this guy was cute," and he started talking. I was like, "Oh, that voice, it'll get on my nerves. I can't do it."
Listen.
And granted, my voice might get on somebody else's nerves, but you have to know what works for you.
Right.
I was somewhere else, and it was this guy. He worked at the building, whatever. He had an accent. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's what we was talking about." I was like his accent, whatever like that. But then he kept on talking. He kept on talking. He was like, "All right, it's a little overwhelming." So
Yeah.
again, you have to know what works for you because you have to be with
Yes.
that 24/7 or however your relationship, friendship works out and things of that sort. So again, knowing what it is that you want. If it is a deal breaker, removing yourself to not hurt anybody's feelings. Don't try to get over, get free meals, whatever, free foot rubs. Whatever.
Listen,
Yourself.
because people do that these days, which
Mhm.
men and women are both guilty of it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And that's something I've come to realize. Dudes know how to manipulate and play a woman to get what they still want to get without having to give a woman the commitment aspect. A
Mhm.
woman knows how to play a woman to compartmentalize her life to get free meals or
Yeah.
gifts or whatever it is. And everybody's doing it to everybody. I think that's the part of self-love as well, though, right? Like coming to figure out, like, I love myself enough to just be patient
Mhm.
and go, hey, I'm gonna wait, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And if you need to get yourself a dog, if you need to find you some new friends, spend
Yeah.
more time doing a hobby that you really love, you might
Yeah.
actually find the person that you want doing the hobby you love.
Join the hobby of love. And public service announcement.
Yeah.
Though you may swindle,
Yeah.
everybody doesn't take that very well. Everybody's capacity is a little bit different. So
Yeah.
be careful.
Yes.
Because there's a reason why there's a show called I Love You to Death. There's a reason why there's a show called The Next 48 Hours. Because people don't take it very well. So please
No. Be
don't
careful.
play with
Yes.
your life.
Yes, don't do that. And because not everybody is the same. That is for
Absolutely.
sure. And yeah,
And
and this world is crazy that we're living in right now.
so we want to be mindful. That's all I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you do. If it works out for you, just be
If it works
careful
for you, right?
because it
Please
might
be
not.
careful.
Please.
Yes, because not everybody's going to respond the same.
Everybody's responding. Um, Fabiano, what is something that you want us to walk away with?
I think, just with the depth of what we've talked about, I would say first and foremost, love yourself. And in doing that, that means healing. So I know it's hard, and I get it. Like some people think, oh, I need a couple extra grand a month just to even start. Or you might think that talking to a counselor is not for you because you're like, well, why am I going to talk to somebody if they need to get counseling themselves? Allow them to get the counseling themselves, but don't allow that to be your burden when you're trying to heal. Or find somebody from, there's all kinds of programs out there, but there's also a church that you can go and talk to a pastor, and they'll help you out. I would say, when it comes to relationships, learn to love them from where they are at. Don't love them because of how you just want to love them. And then I would think, as far as relationships on a whole, um, have grace. It's so hard out here in this world right now. All the wars going on, the way the economy is set up, uh, taxes, all that stuff that's going on. Have grace and mercy with each other out here. That's definitely, and as cheesy as it sounds, love everyone. Yeah, that's why that's I think where I'm at right now.
Love everyone.
Forgiveness, forgiveness. And do your best to have a forgiving heart. Some people deserve a second chance. Not everybody, I get it, but some people do.
It's very good.
Thank you for listening to the Blending Fab podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by our sponsor, Chosen Counselors. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and follow us on Instagram at blending_fab. Check out this snippet from our next episode.